Greetings, salutations, Eddie here. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing another video. And today's video is the anti-TBR tag, which was created by Nicole Her Books. I'll link that video down below for you guys. I am filming in the same spot on the same day as my booktube oldie tag. But I don't know when that video will be up, and I don't know when this video is going to be up. So this is basically an anti-TBR, which means these are books that you will never read, no interest in reading, and yada yada yada. So all that fun jazz. So anyways, disclaimer, as always, my personal opinions doesn't mean that these books are bad, just doesn't mean that these books are for me. End of story. Number one, a popular book that everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. And I'll put the picture over here, over Ty. And that is Illuminate books 2 and 3. Scoot over here. And that's solely because I just did not like Illuminate. And it's very rare for me to not finish a series, because you guys know that once I start a series, I need to see where it goes. But in this case, I just didn't really connect to anybody. Didn't connect to Katie or Ezra. I think those are their names. I just didn't really like the story that much. I think the format of the book was awesome, but overall, just wasn't for me. A lot of people loved it. Coming out. No thanks. Number two, a classic book or author you have no interest in reading. I would say I already read this book and I have no interest in rereading it, and that is 1984. And I read this book for class. And all the books that I read for school, aside from a couple, I blocked out because I did not like 1984. I think the ones that I actually do keep in mind a lot of the time is Kite Runner, Animal Farm, Kindred, and To Kill a Mockingbird, and Night. But 1984 wasn't for me. Number 3.1 and number 3.2. An author whose books you have no interest in reading, and a problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading. And it says here, you can combine questions 3 and 3.2, or you can answer them separately if you don't have an answer for both. And I have an answer for both. And now I will explain the problematic side of this author in a second. And after thinking about it, I've come to the very difficult decision of not reading Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I had recently discovered, when Children of Blood and Bone was coming out, another author who you guys may have heard of, Nora Roberts, had a book coming out, part of her trilogy. I forgot what it's called, but it started with year 1. The second book being Of Blood and Bone, which is very similar to that of Children of Blood and Bone. Tomi Adeyemi kind of threw shade at Nora Roberts for using her same title. And therefore, Tomi Adeyemi's fans attacked Nora Roberts. And in response, Tomi later retracted her statement, and I guess there was a lawsuit or something like that. Nora Roberts, who my grandmother and my mother pray to, like she's God. They love Nora Roberts. She said you can't copyright a title, and yada yada yada. And her book was actually finished a year before Children of Blood and Bone, and the title was already picked out. So I just don't want to support, and apparently there's like other claims and allegations that Tomi has treated other black authors terribly and book shops terribly, and I don't want to get into that drama. So even though I bought Children of Virtue and Vengeance for $9 recently, and I have these two, I don't think I'm going to read this series. This series I was really excited to read until I heard about the allegations and that really petty lawsuit against Nora Roberts. I'm just like, I don't want to spend too much time reading these books. Number 4, an author you have read a couple books from and have decided their books are not for you. And for me, that's Scott Westerfeld. I read the Ugly series, did not really like that series at all, and I read Afterworlds, and I decided that's my last Scott Westerfeld novel, because I did not like his stories at all. I didn't like Uglies, I didn't like Afterworlds. I just think that it was kind of a bland story, in my opinion, Afterworlds was. And my main complaint is, and I think I said this before, that we go between Lizzie and Darcy's, and I can't remember which one's which, But one of them writes the story, and then the other one, Darcy, writes the story, and Lizzie lives them. That's the tagline of the book. And I'm just like, this is just really weird. Like, I would rather have a book about Darcy's story or Lizzie's story. Not, I don't know. But the whole thing is that Darcy, is trying to get her book published, and we're seeing bits and pieces of her story. It just wasn't for me. I just didn't like it, and I will never read a Scott Westerfeld book. I know that he's like one of the most popular YA authors, but for me, big pass. Number 5, a genre you have no interest in reading, or a genre you try to get into but couldn't. I have 2 genres. Erotica, I just think it's a really, really, really uncomfortable genre for me to read, and high fantasy. The only high fantasy that I love is Daughter of Smoke and Bone. Daughter of Smoke and Bone is probably the best, I'm going to say this out there, the best YA fantasy trilogies that I have read. And yes, I have not read Mistborn. Don't think I will. But it's just, Daughter of Smoke and Bone is absolutely beautifully written. The world is amazing. The characters are great. I just love Daughter of Smoke and Bone. But other than that, high fantasy, it's just a lot. When I say a lot, it's a lot, and I can't get into that world. Pardon the pun. Number 6, a book you have bought but will never read. This can be a book you have unhauled or returned to the library unread. I have 2 answers for this one. One of them is Icons by Margaret Stohl, who was the co-author of Beautiful Creatures. Did not like Icons at all, so that's gone. But I try not to buy books that I know I will not read. That's why I will get them from the library. One of them is actually a trilogy. And I bought 2 of them. I did not buy the third one. The third one I got as a Christmas present. The Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. Now listen, I want to get into the series, but after years of it collecting dust on my shelves, it's not working out for me. I'm really upset about it, and I'm going to be honest, when Toshopolis did that video called Pierce Brown is the hottest YA author, people bought the book not even knowing what the book is about, and I was one of those suckers because, I mean, pretty handsome. But that shouldn't be the only reason why I read this book. And I read like the first half of Red Rising, and you know what? I decided, no, not for me. And that kind of answers next question. Number 7, a series you have no interest in reading or a series you have started and have DNF'd. And let me just put this out here, I never try and DNF a book, but in this case, the Red Rising series, it's just, maybe I'll keep them and read them in the future, but right now, they're not on my radar. It's just, the concept is so interesting though, that's what sucks. Finally, number 8, a new release you have no interest in reading. Simple answer, Midnight Sun. I do not want to revisit Twilight. Don't care to revisit Twilight. That's where I stand. That's going to be it for me from today. That was the Anti-TBR Book Tag. If you guys wanted to do this tag, video is down below with all the questions. If you like this video, please get a big thumbs up and comment down below your thoughts of these books. And if you like them, that's cool. They're just not for me. For more content, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see everyone soon in my next video. Deuces.